Hello, beautiful people of the internet. I'm Carrie-Ann Otaño. I'm here today to tell you more about the OperaDelaware Studio Series and our very next artist who is going to be coming to the Studio Series here at the OperaDelaware Studios. We're going to be joined by Brian James Myer. OperaDelaware audiences might remember that Brian James Myer played Figaro in our Paper Moon production of The Barber of Seville. Now he's back with an artist-curated concert that he has prepared with Aurélien Huller featuring some world premiere pieces. I'm so excited to share Brian's music with you and to introduce him to you. Brian James Myer, you have been a friend of OperaDelaware for many years. You've also been a friend of me and Dane and Brendan and all of us as individuals for a long time. It's so exciting to get to present a recital curated by you, telling the story that you want to tell. Tell us a bit about the title and the content. What should we expect in this recital?
So this content is very, very important to me. It's all stories, composers, librettists that don't fall on the traditional spectrum of love. So it's about queer voices in the past and in the present. And there's a lot of erasure in the earlier centuries and the earlier decades. So there are some composers that fall onto that queer spectrum that may be a little bit shocking. And I kind of want to highlight that. But there's also a lot of contemporary music that speaks to our current stories.
I love that. Yeah, we've talked a little bit in preparation for this recital about this idea of queer coding. Can you tell us more about what that looks like in classical music?
Yeah, so queer coding is, it's sort of subtly injecting bits and pieces of our stories without being overt or explicit. A lot of that happens in the operas of Benjamin Britten, perhaps. And I mean, that's the most obvious one that I can think of, but there are many others. Where words can be sort of understood in several different ways. And so people that are looking for that or listening for it can pick up on, hey, this person, you know, is looking out for me.
Yeah.
I feel seen.
And that is such an important part of, I think, this entire series, the studio series with OperaDelaware, is that we want our artists to be seen because that really reflects our community. Who are you hoping to appeal to with this program? Who are you hoping to reach with this program?
Well, I'm hoping to reach, I mean, anybody who loves music, to be perfectly honest.
Step one, everyone who loves music.
Everybody who loves music,
yes.
I'm hoping to reach out to. But also the people in my community, in the queer community. I live in Philadelphia, and I have a wide range of friends in the queer community that I have been talking up this recital to. And they are perhaps people that don't go to a lot of classical concerts, operas, you know, symphonies and things like that. And I want to share these stories with them and say, hey, there's room there. We exist, we have existed for a long time, and we've been making art for a very long time. And I want to share that with them.
Absolutely. So what people might not realize about the studio series and how that differs from our main stage operas is the intimacy of the studio series. That it's just you and Aurélien Huller who helped you program this recital, the two of you creating music in the intimacy of the beautiful OperaDelaware studio space, that you really get to decide how you want to tell these stories, the flow of the program. It's really your perspective. So talk about, as an artist, having the authority to determine how you want to connect with an audience.
Yes, I want to start by saying, yes, I have had complete control over what I get to present, how I want to do it, how formal or informal. Everything has been up to me, which has been really, really wonderful. That doesn't happen very often. So that's been really wonderful. And because I've had this freedom, I've really been able to focus on who can I showcase, what stories can I tell, where can I throw in some more traditional sounding stuff that maybe your ear has been trained to hear, but then at the same time, through this lens of, oh, wait, we're talking about unconventional love. And I recognize some of the sounds, and I mean, I've got some Russian music on here that was written by a composer that was widely believed to have been gay. And getting to do that, but then also injecting new things. There are 2 world premiere song cycles that are going to be on this program.
Incredible.
Which I am very, very happy to share. But one of these world premiere song cycles written, the composer is a friend of mine named Ian Bell. The text is actually from the 1800s. It's Verlaine and Rimbaud, French poetry, and they were lovers. And so it's sort of this juxtaposition of the old and the new.
It's so special because it feels like with the coding, it feels like almost secret messages that we were getting from the past, right? That people put a little time capsule in their music of their true heart and who they really were, either in their poetry or the music that they were writing, the storytelling, and then it's interpreted years later, maybe hundreds of years later, that you can see that and still receive that message. That's incredible to get to offer to an audience.
Yeah. I'm very excited about it.
Very excited about it. Okay, so tell me about, I know leading up to your recital, there is an event happening here with AIDS Delaware.
Correct.
You are going to be doing a little snippet at AIDS Delaware. Can you tell us a little bit about the preview that you're going to do with that, performance?
Yes, I'm very excited about it. It's actually the opener of the recital that I'm going to be doing. It's a piece by Jake Heggie and Mark Campbell, well-known creators in the opera world, I'll say. And it's about relationships and the end of a relationship, but an unconventional one, I will say. There is it's called The Other Woman, and it is about a person breaking off this relationship with somebody who is also in a relationship with somebody else. So this is the other woman that's breaking off because he finds out that there is a third person and he does not want to be the other woman. Oh. And so that's the whole, it's very fun, I'll say.
I love that.
Yeah.
And that's something that's so interesting about exploring this music is throughout time, relationships have changed and evolved, but there's always been this through line. We're always looking for connection. We're always looking to be meaningful in someone else's life, right? So you can see how these connection points happen throughout history and have them interpreted by someone as incredible as Jake Heggie and Mark Campbell. I mean, the things that they have given us, the things that they have done for opera. Mwah! Thank you. Thank you, icons.
Yes.
So on this program, we have a couple of world premieres, 2 world premieres, and one written by you.
Yes.
Now, what I think is so amazing about this is when we think about opera singers, we think about them performing, but typically they're the kind of vessel for someone else's words and music and writing and interpretation. You've really taken the driver's seat with this. Yeah. Tell us about the process of creating this piece and where the inspiration came from.
Yeah, so I'll start with, it's sort of a partnership with a friend and colleague of mine named Jay St. Flono, and we actually met on a contemporary opera about the Stonewall riots. So this all just sort of ties together. It does. Written by Ian Bell, who wrote the other world premiere that we're doing on this recital. But there's a lot that ties together.
This is so thoughtfully curated. Yeah. I love that how really so thoughtfully curated the way that you put all this music together, because the overlap and how these people have come into your life is so beautiful.
These people are important to me, and that's what I really want to show. And so I wrote Jay and I said, hey, Jay was part of a program with American Opera Projects. So has been working as a librettist, also writes music too, and is an author, all of these things, as well as a great singer. So I thought we gotta do something together. And so I gave them complete sort of control. I said, write me something from your heart and I will figure out how to set the music to that. And they sent me 3 poems that are just beautiful and clearly from the soul. And I was given total freedom to just play. And we talked about, how certain phrases should go and this and that. But at the end of the day, I wrote the music and then I sent copies of the music, and they wrote back that they were moved to tears. And it's just been this partnership that has worked really, really well. And it will be the first time I sing my own music in front of a live audience. So.
Oh my God, thank you for this honor. I feel like this is so cool to be the place that you're going to debut this.
Yes, yeah. December 3rd, 2 p.m.
It's going to be lit.
I'm very excited.
I love this. And what I love about the collaboration and the relationship with you and these other creatives is that there's so much trust involved. There's so much compassion involved and mutual respect, right? And so each of you can just shine in what you bring to the table, what you're best at. And so for you, it's creating this music and you could just fully put your trust in them to give you the words that were going to allow you to create your best music.
They delivered. And it's been the same also with Ian's world premiere cycle that I'm doing. Ian also gave me complete trust. I said, I'm going to have to dive into this because some of it is difficult, to sort of get through sort of harmonically. And I was like, can you just give me some time to figure this out? And he said, oh, I have no worries about how amazing this is going to be. It just trusts me. So I hope I do it justice.
And now I'm so excited for the next step in this process after the creation of it, the collaboration that happened behind the scenes to create this piece. Now you get to get in front of the audience. They get to put their trust in you, and you get to put your trust in them to share this incredible experience. What an exciting opportunity.
It's going to be emotional for me, for sure.
I'm going to be there with a box of tissues because you know it's going to be emotional for you.
I'm going to need them. We'll put them on my little table in the back.
Yes. I'm so excited and really, really honored and grateful that you're going to be a part of this.
I'm excited too.
Tell me a little bit about how you found your voice in opera. How did opera become the medium with which you wanted to share with the world?
I will say that at first it was sort of an accident. I was in school studying music, but my goal was to be a teacher, a music teacher. And then for long and boring reasons, I ended up auditioning for the opera when I was in college. And the first opera that I got into was an opera called Johnny Skiki, done not that long ago here at OperaDelaware.
True.
And it is a one-act comedy. It's so fun. Everybody's on stage the whole time. I was with all my friends in college and I had the time of my life. And so I thought, well, I guess I can see where this goes. I'll keep experimenting. And we did many shows again after that while I was in college. And then I decided to go to grad school for singing, not for education. And it was really there where I was focusing on not only my voice, my technical voice, but really the thing about opera that's different from everything else is that there's a story to be told. So yes, I love to sing beautifully. Everybody wants to sing beautifully if you're a classical singer, but what's more important to me is diving into what story am I really trying to tell here? And some of these stories in opera are mind-blowing, the things that you go through. And that's what really draws me to it. And particularly contemporary opera. I love contemporary opera. I love the classics too, but.
It's kind of the grandness of the story, because I feel like for an opera, it's not necessarily the size of the orchestra. It's not the size of the space that you're performing. It's the grandness of the emotion.
It's the emotion,
It's the grandness of the story that needs to be told.
Yeah.
And I think another thing I love about what you were saying that really drew you in, because you were originally interested in education, which is such a selfless, to give back, to educate students in music. But what you fell in love with was the collaborative community process of building a show with your friends. Yeah. And that, I think, that's at the heart of what it means to be a performer. It's at the heart of this studio series, that you're collaborating, that your voice matters, that your collaborator's voice matters, and that you get to create this space of trust with the audience.
Yes.
That is so beautiful and so special, and something that really can only happen through opera. I love that.
Yeah.